What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, guys. Welcome back to Omar BYT, ladies and gentlemen. And welcome, guys, to the match preview of the second leg of the Champions League semi-finals between Inter Milan and Barcelona, guys. The game is already here, guys. 90 minutes or 120 minutes away from potentially a Champions League final for Barcelona or a Champions League final for Inter Milan. Basically, we go into this tie. Basically, winner takes all. It ended 3-3 in the first leg, as you all know. But now we head to the Giuseppe Meazza, aka the Siro Stadium. And this is going to be a very, very good game. This will be the match preview. I'm going to talk about the potential lineups, squad updates, injury updates, and everything else that comes with that. So if you guys like that, make sure you guys smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and let's go. Now, as far as Barcelona is concerned, ladies and gentlemen, obviously we played the first leg in our home stadium at the Montjuic Stadium. It ended 3-3, obviously, as you guys know. And yeah, it wasn't exactly our best performance. However, the good news is we didn't lose, even though we were behind twice in the game. And we were very, very poor defensively. I wasn't impressed. And even going forward, I wasn't impressed with a lot of the performances from certain players. But the good news is we did not lose the game, which we looked like we were. But we do come into this game with a draw. And listen, at the end of the day, Inter Milan are the team with the advantage, obviously coming home with a draw. But look, at the end of the day, aggregates don't count anymore. So they have to beat us or we have to beat them. It's one or the other, or basically go to penalties. And as far as Barcelona's squad is concerned, we do have a few absentees, unfortunately for us, Barcelona. Alejandro Balde has not been confirmed now. He will not be part of the squad that will travel to Milan. He is not going to be part of it. Obviously, you guys know Jules Koundé got injured during the first leg, so we have neither of our starting right backs in that game. Gavi also unfortunately suffered an injury in the last game against Real Valladolid, which was not great, to be perfectly honest. It was very, very unfortunate for us that we had to have an injury like that in the midfield. But if there is any good news as far as returns is concerned, we could potentially see Robert Lewandowski make his return. I do know that he's trained with the team today. So he was actually training with the squad today. And look, at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, it's a big, big loss in our defense. Losing both of our starting right backs, having to rely on both Gerard Martin and Hector Ford is absolutely devastating for us, because we saw Gerard Martin in the last game. In the Champions League, he was poor. And Hector Ford, I was really impressed with him in the game against Real Valladolid. So losing both guys will be a huge loss for us. And we're just going to have to see what happens now. We're going to have to see what Hansi Flick decides to do. If, like I said, the good news is that with Lewandowski returning, that, increases our chances going forward, because we know, he may not be the same striker as he was in the past, but he definitely knows where the back of the net is. Now, as far as Inter Milan is concerned, they are obviously going to be coming into this second leg full of confidence. They played out of their skin in the first leg, and they can count themselves unlucky that they didn't leave the away game with a win. So they're going to come into this game rightfully believing that they do have a strong chance of making it to the final. And unfortunately for them, they do have some absentees coming into this game. But I will say this, I watched their game in the weekend and they completely rotated against Verona. I think it was basically a full rotation. So clearly they are keeping their eye and they're prioritizing this game against us. And if there is any big losses in their squad, it would be Lautaro Martinez. He is actually unfortunately out for them, so he will not be participating. And look, at the end of the day, I may not rate Lautaro Martinez, I may not rate him as a top striker. However, I will say this about Lautaro Martinez. He has been one of their key players during this run. But the good news is, obviously, Marcos Thuram is back in the team. He was back in the game against us. He scored. Denzel Dumfries, another one who looked like, he was likely not available. He was available and he scored twice against us. And look, at the end of the day, if I'm going to be 100% honest with you, this is going to be a very, very hard game going to the Giuseppe Meazza, because the way they performed against us, especially in the set pieces, they are going to be taking advantage of those set pieces. You know they will, because we cannot defend set pieces to save our lives. Right? Even in the last game against Real Valladolid, I wasn't impressed with the way we played in that game, even though we won. And I know people are going to say it was completely rotated squad. Doesn't matter. We've been dealing with set piece problems for the whole season. And the crazy thing is, if you look at Inter Milan under Inzaghi, especially in the Champions League, the set pieces is where they've been getting a lot of their best performances, right? Most of their goals in the game against Bayern Munich, both of their goals in that away leg came from set pieces, corner kicks specifically. So they're definitely gonna worry us. They've already scored 2 set piece goals against us from Denzel Dumfries. So we all know how they're gonna come into the game. When it comes to Inter, even though they are the home team, they're not gonna come into this game against us trying to attack. I think they will attack more than they did in the first leg, which, by the way, even in the first leg, they actually did do well going forward, right? But I think they will go forward a lot more frequently, and they will gain more confidence, and they will try to get the first goal and basically kill the tie. So I can see them going, trying to go forward, get the first goal, and basically once they get that goal, they will just sit back and soak up pressure, right? So we have to be careful and make sure that the lineup is right for this tie, and make sure that we bring the perfect line, especially in the defense as far as the center backs is concerned in this tie. Now, I just mentioned it, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, the lineups, if I'm going to be real, with all the injuries we have in our defense, I think the lineup does speak for itself. We did rotate completely in the last game against Real Valladolid. So I expect to see, a rotation back. The first team come back. So Szczesny in goal. Now, this is where I'm going to make a wild card, because I feel that Hansi Flick is going to play Kobashi and Inigo, and if he plays those 2 center backs, we are getting cooked. So I'm going to be real. I would keep the same back line that we played in the last game against Real Valladolid. And Ronald Araujo needs to start in this game. He needs to start. Because look, if I'm going to be real, when he came on in the second half against Inter, he was arguably the best defender. Inigo and Kobashi were getting cooked, especially in set pieces. They were not doing well. So we need to see Ronald Araujo start in this game, because I feel like with the physicality of players like Taremi, Arnautovic, and Marcos Thuram, we're going to need Araujo's physicality. And listen, Christensen, he's down to being physical as well. But I don't think he will play both guys. I think it's more likely that he will play maybe Araujo and Kobashi potentially. Obviously, the fullbacks he can change. So Hector Ford and Gerard Martin will start in the fullback position. Midfield, we have Frankie de Jong. Pedri will come back in his position. And Dani Olmo will play in the 10 with Yamal on the right, Rafinha on the left. And this is the big one, Robert Lewandowski starts at the number 9 in this game, guys. But as far as my prediction for scorelines is concerned, guys, obviously it's going to be hard. It's going to be a hot potato. Both teams can still win it. But I'm going to go Inter Milan 1, Barcelona 2, ladies and gentlemen. We will be in a Champions League final, ladies and gentlemen. But tell me what you guys are saying in the comment section below. Make sure you guys smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and like I always say whenever I end these streams, guys, Visca el Barça, Visca el Catalunya, and peace, you guys. Take care.